Oh, sorry. Hello, everybody, and guess what day it is today? It is a day after the end of Chainsaw Man. And by golly, wow, honestly, I was kind of, before I get into it, first off, Chainsaw Man, the manga, ended on the 24th of March. If you don't want spoilers, if you're an anime head, don't watch this, okay? All right? Don't watch this, for the love of God, all right? I'm going to go into straight spoilers, okay? Spoilers ahead, please, I beg. So, 232, in my opinion, is probably the best possible ending you could have for a story that's like this. However, the reaction is about what I expected from the general populace, especially in this day and age, where instead of letting something sit with them for maybe a few hours or something like that, no, it's instant. I'm angry. This doesn't make sense. I need this. I need that. Now, I think first and foremost, when it comes to any ending, I think there's going to be people that are upset. There are going to be people that, it's over. I don't know how to kind of like deal with that, especially with an ending that kind of, in a way, feels like could be like, everything was for nothing if they take it completely at face value. If they take it completely at face value and they're going chapter by chapter, then yeah, it's a terrible ending. And I can kind of empathize with people where, since they've been fans of this series for so long, they had to wait 2 weeks for every chapter. If you are following it for this long, yeah, it could seem kind of annoying that it just feels like everything was just kind of dropped just out of nowhere. But as somebody that read it, I think I read it over a few times, and I was able to read the chapters back to back to back to back. It's pretty apparent that it was going to end up this way or way worse. I think this is probably the best ending Chainsaw Man fans could ask for, because it could have been way worse. My interpretation was that it was going to end with just devils being gone all over the world, and then literally just everything's back to status quo, and Denji just gets fucked over and he dies of like a heart disease. That was the ending I was fully expecting. So the fact that not only are devils still existing in this world, but Denji still gets to live a normal-ish life just away from the Yakuza that abused him for however many years, I think is a lot more fitting and makes more sense for what Pochita wanted for him at the end of the day, which is to live a normal-ish life where he could keep dreaming, but never really fully attaining what he wants. Because when he gets what he wants, a really, really, really good comparison someone made was that he is an addict without a support system, where when he gets that hit, he just wants more and he can't stop himself because he doesn't have people that tell him how to. And the ones that do either aren't around anymore or moved away or are replaced by people that want to take complete advantage of Denji and kind of fuel his addiction, which would be his addiction to all the fame and attention being Chainsaw Man. And the attention he gets from Chainsaw Man doesn't even mean like just the fame from like TVs and stuff. There is an argument I got into where it's like, he only got addicted to it because he saw that on TV he's famous. But the very first time someone that wasn't a zombie looked at Chainsaw Man, it was Makima. And what did she do? Immediately, she hugged him. Completely just hugged him and just like held him and said like, you're going to be with me. He never got that kind of attention before, ever. I think he even mentioned how like people would just look down upon him or something like that in first chapter, because he's just, a low life. He doesn't really have friends. He just works to live, and that's about it. So from the get-go, Chainsaw Man has always been about power and attention, and Makima fucked him up very badly to make that attention very toxic, where it's like, it's not just attention now, it's like sexual gratification, and just like, yeah, here, if you do this for me using your power, you will get this kind of attention from me. And that's very bad. I don't know if people see that, especially when he's literally just a kid. He's 16. He doesn't know any better. And they're doing this kind of stuff to him. Like, what do you want from him? How is he supposed to learn when that is somebody who is older than him telling him and giving him the exact things that he has been craving for so many years. How can you unlearn that when that's just been the status quo for him since part 1? So now that everything has kind of been, I don't think it's been reset. A lot of people say, oh, it's been reset, so all the development for part 1 and part 2 doesn't matter anymore. But they missed the point that to get to that ending where Denji is able to live a normalish life, he and Pochita had to go through part 1 and part 2 to get to that point where it's like, all right, he can't live this normal life as long as I'm still here, which would be Chainsaw Man. So just take Chainsaw Man out, and now he's back, and now he is living a normalish life. And then after that, people still want more answers. They want to know, where's freaking Reize? Where is Makima? Where is Aki and Himeno and Kishibe? And the answer is wherever they were, just not dead. Or they could be dead. They could fully 100% be dead. I personally don't want to believe that they're dead. Reize was only there for Chainsaw Man, but she's not there. And maybe she might not even need to. One of the things that I saw was that if Chainsaw Man's gone and everything is back to normal, that means technically Nazis exist. But because Nazis exist, that means the Soviet Union eventually did collapse, meaning that the program or whatever like facility that Reize was in, which was based in the Soviet Union, which still exists in the Chainsaw Man world, no longer exists because of all the stuff that happened previously. So if she did still exist in this world, that means she's not really part of any program, and she might not even have double power. She might just be a normal girl now. So best case scenario, she's a normal girl living her own life over in Russia. Good for her. Would it have been nice to see those two together? Yeah, but the only reason why she was there in the first place was because of Chainsaw Man. And I think inherently, whenever people are going after Denji, they're going after Chainsaw Man, and they don't actually want to be there for Denji. And that's fucked up. They're not there for him. Nobody was really there for Denji. But now in this new world, they are there for Denji. Him and Power are partners now, brother and sister. And now whatever senior there is, people are theorizing the seniors that Denji was talking about at the end of the chapter is probably Himeno and Aki. We don't see them, but it is possible. I think we got to this point in the internet where you have to always have answers. If you don't have answers, you are upset. The vague posting. People hate vague posting. I despise vague posting, but for a different reason. When it comes to media, such as like manga or TV shows or movies, you do want to have that air of mystery for the most part. If it's intentional, it makes sense because you want people to talk about it, to theorize about it, or to just anticipate when it happens. Like, whoa, no way this happened. No way, blah, blah, blah. The problem with how we are now is that we want those answers and we want them now. And if you don't answer this stuff, then I'm upset. And I think that's only acceptable when it's like someone posting like, oh, I don't know. It's like, oh, do you know what hot dogs are made of? And it's like, oh, hot dogs. Well, nobody wants to know what they're actually made of. And it's like, brother, just if you're not going to say it, don't say it. Or if you're going to say it like this, just say what the fuck it is. It's not, you don't need to hide behind like the mystery, just say it. But when it comes to like movies and TVs and film, like I think another one is Digital Circus. I seen people be like, oh my god, why does Goose make all this vague stuff? It's so annoying. Right. It's like that's the whole fucking point. These shows, if they tell you everything that's gonna happen, all this stuff, it's not nearly as interesting if you go in and you get to like theorize. That's like one thing that I see a lot of people have issues with, just all the answers that they want but they can't have, because I don't think it really is the point of that chapter to give all the answers. I think it's to give a conclusion, a proper conclusion to Denji as a character. Just like this is how he kind of like is able to live now. Asa gets to not kill the little fucking chicken devil and gets to be friends with her classmates. Denji gets to live, but now he doesn't have to be like this really weird like addict that constantly is like craving attention and just can never get his fill. Now he has I would say a proper support group that aren't actively using him. They use him, but it's a job now. Now what he does is like an actual job. I can definitely understand the sentiment of just like, oh, wanting more. I think that's going to happen with a lot of things, but it's always interesting. It's like, what more could you have wanted? Would you have wanted it to just scale up and up and up, where it's like it's Makima who is the control devil, and then you want him to fight the death devil, and then you want to fight him like hell devil or something like that. It's like at a certain point, when does it stop to where you're satisfied with the ending? I think part 1 would have been a perfectly satisfying ending for a lot of people, but the same problem would come up. It's like, oh my god, what about blood? What about power and the promise he made? What about the other devils that Maki was talking about? It's just, people do want conclusions, but this is the most conclusive end they could have. And not only that, it is the end of Chainsaw Man, but from the ending, Devil World is still there. I think I saw people theorize how Fami is still technically there with the way how one of the background characters in the school look. So it's possible that whatever prophecy was there for Chainsaw Man is still there, but maybe it's not going to happen, or it is going to happen, or it's going to happen in a completely different way. The world is still there that could be continued upon. It just doesn't have Chainsaw Man. I don't think we need a part 3, because I think that is a good ending for Chainsaw Man. If it continued in that world, but with completely different characters, I think that'd be amazing. For me, myself, I am satisfied with how it ended. It could have ended so much worse. It really could have. Like, I think everyone should be happy. It couldn't have been any worse than it was. It does feel sad that it's over, but I think that's the way it is with each show that ends, each manga that ends. It's just like, oh damn, I fucking feel something. And I think some people interpret it as just like real anger and being upset, like, no, you're wrong, this is ass, this is stupid. And hopefully, my hope is that the people that are angry with it now and come back to it maybe at some other point in time in the future and look back on it, take each chapter rather than by its face, then look a little bit in between, like the nuance and all that stuff that happens within the actual frame. And maybe they'll find something. Maybe they'll actually enjoy it for what it is than what they wanted from it. I think there genuinely is some legitimate criticism, but I think it's more of an industry thing rather than an actual manga, like artistic rendition thing. Where, hey, that's also another thing. I think people try to blame Fujimoto for like things that he probably already set in motion. When it comes to art, a lot of the time, a lot of really, really good artists, directors, etc., the thing they have in common is that they know how to begin something, but they also know how to end it or when to end it, because they already had that vision of just, this is how it's going to end, this is how it's going to begin, and maybe here's like parts in the middle that they want to get to. I think the worst kind of artists are the ones that have a lot of setup, but they don't know how to execute. And I think the best example, at least over in America, is J.J. Abrams, where he'll set up these things called like mystery boxes. I think he's talked about it in like Star Wars and Lost, where it's like, yeah, I just want to make these mysteries, and people like ogle at it and be like, oh, what is that? And he's good at it. I think that's a general consensus, that he's really good at making all these like different mystery boxes where people are just like theory crafting, like, whoa, what does that mean? Whoa, why is that lightsaber with that orange lady in The Force Awakens? Or what the heck? Why is there a bunker in the middle of the freaking island? But then he doesn't really commit to the execution. Like with Star Wars, he got out on the second one, and then he kind of had to pull something out of his ass for the third one. With Lost, I think he brought that stuff up. He got off the writing team in the middle, so whoever was left over, they had nothing to work with other than like, what the frick do we do? So I think that's an example of kind of like an artist, director, or whatever, kind of half-assing it, where it's just like they can give you good stuff, but then the payoff is not worth it. I think with Fujimoto, he is one of those artists that always has kind of that plan set from beginning to end. If anything, I would say it's just getting to point might be the issue, and that might be because of the industry standard of just having to make X amount of work every 2 weeks and having to post it up for the general audience to consume. And when they do, they are vitriolic because, they wait every 2 weeks for new chapters with a certain expectation. And if it doesn't meet that expectation, they blame it on the artist. At the end of the day, I think he did what he set out to do, and I think he did a very good job with the ending. Could it have been expanded on? Probably, but at that point, it's just like, if you want to keep something going on and on and on and on, I don't know why people want it to continue on for longer than it is, because what they're going to get in those parts where he probably is not going to put as much effort, you're going to get slop. You're going to get slop. It's just going to be filler that you don't care about until you get to the end. Regardless, it's a mess. People are going to be upset. That's usually how it be sometimes. Hopefully in the future, people can come back and appreciate it for what it is. I think the ending was amazing, especially when it could have been worse. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. There's probably more I haven't said, but oh well, it's over. There's really not much changing that. But let me know what you guys think, if you did enjoy it, or if you didn't enjoy it. Maybe give me some reasons why you didn't, because there might be something I missed where it's like, oh, maybe he could have expanded on something, or maybe he missed something that's probably much more relevant than I think it actually is. But I think it ended the way it needed to. So anyways, that's about it. Bye. Yeah, bye. Get out of here. Go away, shoo.